Alright, welcome back everyone. Today, overview of the suspension. So, the last video on this thing, we had a whole slew of parts that we were gonna put underneath it, suspension wise. So, it has now been installed, driven it, a little bit. Haven't really had chance to take it through the canyons the way I want. But just to recap, this thing has LG billet drop spindles on here, G-Speed spec Penske single adjustable coilovers. It's got Borg bushings, their Delrin bushing set. It has T1 spec Corvette T1 sway bars with their polyurethane bushings. It's got Progress end links. These are really beefy end links. The white lines I had, they previously had tore. It's got AMT camber lockout kit, so this thing's sitting on some pretty aggressive camber. It has a track alignment. This was all installed and calibrated by Abel Chevrolet in Rio Vista. So this thing has the works. I'm interested in going out and testing this thing. What I want to do is give you guys a POV, driver POV in the canyons, and then kind of give you my final thoughts and my before and after. Just some initial thoughts. The LG billet drop spindle on the lower, where the lower ball joint would be, is a spherical ball joint. So that's basically a monoball style. It's by design, and it's to provide aggressive ride and handling dynamics. So over bumps, this thing is noticeably rougher than what it was before. Couple that with a Delrin Borg bushing set, the car definitely rides a little bit rougher, but that's okay for me. That's to be expected. I have a route in the canyons that I like to go through, so I'm gonna give you guys my impressions of this thing and take you guys along. And so stay tuned for the driver thoughts after we go through the canyons. So what can I say? In a few short words, a night and day difference. The suspension change on this car has completely transformed it from something that was a good slot car to a car that has full track capabilities. I think this was one of the best mods that I could have done to this car, besides adding power. The car's turn in is on point. You have confidence through all the curves. There's no spot on the road where you don't feel like you're in control. The turn in is immediate. The car is flat and stable through the corners. There's no delay, you know, like when the I think I attribute that to the Delrin bushings. Before, you could kind of feel the slack as far as soon as you would engage the wheel, you'd feel some kind of slack, but that's since been eliminated. Now I would say it's probably better off that I get a seat for the car. Would be the next mod, is just to get a proper seat, because when I'm going through the corners, I'm literally sliding around. These stock seats are, you know, they're okay, but I need something with some proper bolstering and something, you know, like a low seat mount. So I'll probably be leaning on AMT again for their ultra low seat brackets. That'll get me down at least another couple inches in the car. A night and day difference. The car feels amazing. She actually rides quite a bit rougher, but would I say that's a good trade-off for me and for my driving characteristics, for what I look for in a car? Absolutely worth every bit of the trade-off. They did raise the ride height up, so now I'm able to kind of get in and out of places that I couldn't before. This car was extremely low. It was pretty much slammed on the ground. So definitely she sits a little higher than I like, but honestly I think for functionality it's perfect. If I'm being quite honest, the thing's still actually a little bit low, but that's okay. Now, I went through the canyons in my local area to get through to test out this suspension, and while doing so, going through those canyons, like I said, the car was just next level. While in the canyons and while testing out the dynamics of this car, one thing that I will say, this thing is on really some older tires that if I put this thing on a set of Hoosier R7s, like a slick, yeah, I would definitely have to have a seat at that point. The car is just next level. One of the things I could do is probably swap out to the BMW brake booster, delete the GM ABS module. It did come on once, just for a second. The light flashed, ABS active. But other than that, this thing was as flat as it could be. Again, a little bit rougher, but way more confidence, way more turn in, way more just stable through the corners, the transitions, and the car is just flat out a beast. It's ready for track duty now. You know, if I put a good seat in there and maybe an oil cooler and address the ABS module, because the factory C5 Corvette ABS modules aren't really set up for track duty, and you do get some weird things going on that can throw the body control module out. So I'm not really looking forward to, you know, I'd rather just kind of work around that and go a different direction. Proper oil cooler and maybe a larger radiator, and this thing's ready to go. So again, I want to give a shout out to Able Chevrolet in Rio Vista for installing this. It was approximately, they had the car just as long as they said it would. It was seamless. They also did a track alignment with some aggressive camber specs on it. So again, this thing is dialed in, and it pretty much wants for nothing. I think this car ideally with ported 243s and a BTR stage 2 cam would make this thing the perfect driver. But again, for now, that's it. We'll be signing off. Appreciate you guys for watching and staying cued in on the channel, and we'll see you soon.